Hey everybody, creating the perfect light levels for your office can be challenging, but today I'm going to be explaining how using modern lights and technology can improve productivity, creativity, make a more workable office space, and even save you money. I'm Jake Michael, and I'm going to be diving into some of those bold claims today. So the first thing we're going to be going into is the psychology of modern lighting. And if that sounds kind of academic, it is, but it's important because the big theme that we're going to be hitting on is business innovation. You've heard of business innovation, you know what business innovations are in the form of laptops, cell phones, and all kinds of different business technologies surrounding our business today and how we're working in the 21st century. And one of the business innovations that actually gets glossed over far more than it should is LED and modern lighting. And so I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what kind of lighting you should have in your office and why. So studies have shown, and this is proven over and over again through university studies, that the light levels that we experience in our office should resemble the light levels that we see outside. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is actually common sense and you know it, but here's why. So I'm going to write this up here. So light levels should resemble, and I'm going to put time of day. That's something to remember right there. So when you wake up in the morning, what's the light outside? It's bright, it's cheery, it's very almost blue how bright it is, and that's the kind of light that's going to be giving you energy. That's the kind of light that's going to be producing the chemicals in your brain that mean focus, that mean creativity, that means get out of bed, let's get the day going. And you can experience the difference between having bright light in the morning and not having it, because on a rainy day, how do you feel? You feel draggy, you feel groggy, some people even feel down or sad when there's no light out in the morning. But when you have bright blue light from the sun shining in, it's a sunshiny day, you feel good, you feel productive, you feel ready to go. That's blue light. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about. We're talking about light levels in the office. So keep that in mind. I'm going to put it up here. Blue light. On the contrary, warm light or yellow light is going to be the low lights in the evening when the sun goes down, the sky gets hazy, and it has all the different colors that we associate with sunset. That's warm light. We're talking about that too. Warm light. Warm light is what winds us down at the end of the day. Warm light is associated with sunsets, fireplaces. The lights in your home are all going to be warm lights. More than likely, you don't have bright blue lights in your living room because they're just not homey. They're not cozy, and those are adjectives that are a little subjective, but those are associated, those associations we have with those colors of lights are kind of part of the science because we feel differently under different kinds of lights. And what we're finding out is that offices using various business innovations can take advantage of the chemical reaction that comes in your brain when it comes to those lights. So these two lights are the kind we're going to be focusing on. In blue light, this is our AM light, right? This is creativity, this is focus, this is how we get it done. And then as the evening comes around, we got that warm light. So blue light, that's what you want in your morning in your office. Right now, you can't control it, but I'm going to get into that. So in the morning, in the AM, this is producing creativity. And in the 21st century, we cannot all sell the same product anymore. We know this. Business innovation has shown us we have to be creative. We have to do things differently. We have to do things differently from our competitors. We have to have new ideas, new innovation. And this kind of light is what's going to produce some of those A+ ideas, because that's what our brain uses to tell us it's time to get it going. And this is the 21st century solution to being more creative in the office. The warm light, that's going to be for the evenings in our office. That's to get the people that are working in an office space to wind down. For an end of the day meeting maybe, or something along those lines, you want warm light in your office because this is what's going to tell everybody, hey, the day's wrapping up, it's time to leave my work at work and have my home at home. And that's so important as people that own businesses, as people that want their employees to be able to come back the next day refreshed and ready to knock it out of the park, because when we are able to wind down for the last even just 15-20 minutes of our day, studies have shown that we're able to go home easier and get into our relaxation activities and be with our families and leave work at work, and then the next day you can hit it hard because you got 8 full hours of sleep and you're ready to go. And all of that has to do with warm light at the end of the day And this is just a way to simulate that feeling of, okay, my day's done, I can put it away, and I can come back tomorrow ready to hit it hard. So these are the two kinds of lights that we're talking about when we're talking about modern innovations to light in the office. Back in the day, these options did not exist. You had good light and you had bad light, right? The ones that worked, the ones that were cheap, and the ones that didn't. Now in the 21st century, as everything's moving this way, everything's got a new innovation, everything's got new technology, these are the two kinds of lights that we are able to recreate inside of our office to produce more efficient, happier, more creative, more ready to work employees every single day. So keep an eye on these. So now what we're going to be moving on to is I'm going to be talking a little bit about the power of modern lights. And you may not even be aware of some of the benefits that are associated with modern lighting, but oh my goodness, if you even knew what we could do nowadays. Think about the phone that you keep in your pocket. That phone was an entire room just before the turn of the century. That was rooms of processing power. So think about how far lights have come in that time. So we're going to be talking about modern lighting. And that's the word that I'm going to use to refer to the lights that we have available to us. If you've done a little bit of research on lighting, I'm sure that you know that most of what modern lighting is today is LED. But LED is a very wide category, and so I'm just going to call it modern lights for now because there are a couple of different options. So I'm going to write modern lights up here. That's where we're going next. That's an N. All right, modern lights do encompass LEDs, but there's going to be three main functions that we're going to be looking at when we're talking about modern lights. We're going to be talking about dimming. I'm just going to put dim. We're going to talk about hue. Color and brightness is all in there. And then we're going to be talking, I'm just going to use the word smart, and this is how smart your light is, right? So let's start with the dim right here. So the dim, that's what I'm talking about when we're talking about the kind of light you should have, because the dimming, when you have a light that's smart and available to you, that can pull down the light levels throughout the day to stimulate the kind of feelings that you're trying to evoke inside the people around you. So having a light that dims without a switch is very important. And in order to have a light that's smart, you have to have a light that's able to do this. Modern LEDs can dim themselves and can be dimmed. Fluorescents cannot in a way that matters. Fluorescents have an issue. That's what you're seeing in offices that are outdated are going to be the old fluorescent lights. They flicker. They've got all kinds of health issues associated with them, including epilepsy, headaches, things like that. And that's, if you try and dim them, you have to run into some of those problems. And so fluorescents don't have this capability in a way that matters. Talking about hue, hue is mostly associated with different parts of the room, different parts of the office. However, there are many LEDs that are capable of switching their hues throughout the day through various lenses. And so that's going to be part of your some of the things you're looking for when you're talking about modern lights as well. And then the smart light. The smart light is what I'm talking about when I say business innovation. This is the difference maker. This is the one that's going to hit it home. That's your smart light. This is the one that's going to lower your energy bill because these lights can shut off when somebody's not in the room. This is the one that's going to make your people around you happier, more ready to work because these lights can change their hue and their brightness throughout the day as you're working. So having a smart light, that's the difference between having a business innovation and just a light that shines down on you. There's a big difference between having something that lights up the room and something that can actually change the way you work and the way the people around you operate and even feel. So these are some of just the capabilities that modern lights have available to us today. There's far more than this even, but we can't even get into today, but these three options are the ones when I talk about the psychology of modern lighting, what's best for your office. That's what you're going to be looking at. That's what you're looking for. And something that can do that efficiently is just, it's such a big deal. It's such an innovation. It's such a tactical advantage in business because you are able to do something passively. You can passively affect the mood and the demeanor of the people around you. And that's just wildly important in business, as we all know. And so the final point I'm going to be going into today is I'm going to be talking about what does it cost? Because at the end of the video, you could be fully convinced that you need new lights, because I believe you do. As somebody who's in business, around business all the time, I see the difference, I know the difference. I can stand here and convince you that you need new lights, but at the end of the day, what's the bottom line? Because that's what we're all here for, right? So I'm going to go down here. Let's talk straight, bottom line. What is it going to cost for you to get new lights in your building in a way that matters, right? So, and this is what I'm going to tell you, and this is too good to be true in some ways. I've heard it before. I said it myself before I started looking around into some of these things for how to get you better light. But what is the difference is you can get brand new LED. You can get LED retrofit, even sometimes solar, for free. And when I say that, I'm talking about tax credits. I'm talking about manufacturer rebates, I'm talking about utility rebates. There are government programs available to you that can offset the cost of lighting in a very significant way. So let's talk about it. We'll talk about rebates. Some of these things I can't even go into today. We're talking about tax incentives, and are going to be coming in later videos. We'll leave it at that for now. Rebates and tax incentives can offset the cost in a big way. I have seen personally LED lighting companies be able to come in, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to retrofit your lights. We're going to put in new lights, whatever it is. And then the Uncle Sam says, hey, I'll let you do that for free because that's so efficient. And I'm going to show you the difference in efficiency between a fluorescent and an LED right here on the board. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you 160 watts. That's the common wattage for a fluorescent lamp. And I did all of this math off screen, and you can call me and check my math for me if you want to do so, or a 40-watt LED. I would love to have you check my math and tell me I'm wrong. Here's a fluorescent. Right there, okay? Over the course of the year, the difference in price, over 100 lights, we're going to call it just for an easy number, 100 lights, right here. The difference is over $2,000. The exact number, I believe, is $2,160. No, I don't believe I know. $2,160 over 100 lights. 120 watts per fixture. You don't have to spend a year. 120 watts of energy we're not using a year. If you want to put in a new green initiative, if you want to be green, if that matters to you, which it should, 120 watts a year per fixture that aren't needing to be used. And a kilowatt hour is obviously 100 watts sustained over 1 hour. All of that has carbon emissions. All of that matters. All of that adds up. So 2,160 per 100 lights. If you're in a bigger office park, you know that that number is minuscule compared to the amount of lights that are in your building. So think about how many lights you have, and then per 100, that's 2,000 in your pocket. Over 5 years, that's $10,000. Oftentimes, that's the entire cost of the retrofit after rebates. You can pay that off in 5 years. I've seen it paid off same day. The ROI on modern lights, the return on investment on modern lights makes so much sense. It's so compelling. Many businesses are doing it. And if you are looking into it, let me encourage you, reach out. My team primarily works with people that are ready to make the jump from older lighting to newer lighting, or even LEDs. If yours are failing, if you had some issues, reach out to me. I have business solutions. We have business solutions ready to be able to come give you all of the benefits that come along with modern lights, to give you the dimming switches, to give you the return on investment, the savings, and all of the benefits that go along with retrofitting or making your lighting modern today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.